All right, I'm getting things set up in the new shop, and this is my welding area right over here. This is the table that I built a few videos ago. It works great for MIG, but for TIG, I don't really love it because you can't sit down, and I use a foot pedal with my TIG. You can't have your feet underneath, so you're kind of sitting far out and reaching forward to the work surface. So the folks at VEVOR were kind enough to send me out one of their welding tables. It's very similar to the Clutch / Harbor Freight welding table, 2 foot by 3 foot. I believe it's 14 millimeter holes in it. It's around 1/8 of an inch thick. It did make it here, despite the not so reinforced packaging. It made it to my house, no problem. The hardware did come loose. It's not the most wonderful packaging job in the world, but I mean, like I said, it did get to me. So let's break this thing down. I believe all the hardware did manage to stay in the box, but it's not the worst hardware. But I did go ahead and put myself together another hardware set with some lock nuts, some nylocks, instead of just the regular split washers and the regular plain nuts that they had. Basically, this is going to be the spot where the TIG welding station is going to be. That way I can have a setup ready to go. Do all my MIG on here. My TIG will be right here. Let's go ahead, and I've seen some reviews saying that the table sometimes isn't the most level surface as far as the bend to it. This table isn't very flat. It's got a little raised spot. You can actually see it right there, a raised spot down the middle where the main support beam is. So I checked level on the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it upside down and set it up on the floor right here and get it together. And then let's talk about it once it's all done. Actually, I was wrong. There's a pretty big bend to the table right there. It looks like it was hit on the end. This even kinked right there, both sides. So both sides have a kink in the reinforcement right there. Not sure how I can bend that back. I mean, honestly, I think I'm just gonna try stepping on it. Nah, that's not gonna work. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a good 1/4 inch off. VEVOR, you guys are great, but you got to work on your packaging. This just could have been done with a little bit bigger box and maybe some padding on the sides. Yeah, let me see what I can do here. Needs a little bit more. Yeah, that took most of it out. Like I said, it's only 1/8 of an inch, so it's not that heavy of a table. Oh, dude, that's perfect. That's good. All right. I don't hate that. I'm gonna flip it over, start attaching the legs. You can see in this area it's warped. I'm gonna, just for my own sake, straighten that out. Any of you Volkswagen guys out there watching, if you could tell me what that is, you get points in the comments. Yeah, it definitely got hit in this corner on that side. All right, good enough. Go ahead and get these legs out and attached. There is no front and back to this table. Yeah, some people mentioned that these spot welds were inadequate on their table. It's fine. I'm not going to be wrenching on it, so people were putting more welds on it, but that ain't going anywhere. As far as the legs, they're painted like a wrinkle paint. They're fine. Also, a little bit thinner than 1/8 inch. Honestly, probably around 14 gauge, maybe. Crossbars, same deal. Painted in a wrinkle black. Feet, nice, really big, hefty feet. Some of the most comical gloves I've ever seen. Oh my God. They don't have a thumb. No. Really? Oh no, it's inside out. I thought it didn't have a thumb. Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't even be good for gardening gloves. Got a brush. Those are cool. I always use them. Chipping hammer. No use for that. Fixtures. We'll talk about these later. We'll talk about the clamps later. Let's get the legs on first. Start supporting it, and I want to kind of change something around. This is the hardware I use. It's actually 5/16 hardware. It's supposed to be metric, but this will fit with a nylock and double washered. So let's go ahead and get this loose, put together, and then square everything up and tighten it all. All right, now it's all together, but it's completely loose. I just want to fine tune the measurements and the fit before I snug everything up. So let's figure out, let's get this tightened up to the point where it's just about ready to go. Draw it in. So I'm going to tighten these to the point where I can knock them around and they'll stay where I put them. And now I should be able to, yep. So that's good. So let's go ahead and square right there. So now I should be able to do the same. Tighten these all up. Yeah, they're good. Now I'll continue to that side. Do the same thing. Good enough. Oh, my knees don't get old. All right, let's just check all the tightnesses. All right, that one, yep. All right, now that should be all right. Like I said, I want to leave that off so my feet can go underneath it. Speaking of feet, let's put the feet on and be done with this. Not sure how high I want this. I guess whatever's going to be comfortable with the chair that I'm going to use for now. Oh, that's fine. Probably up pretty high.
I'd have to be pretty high, but yeah.
I bet you would, Panama Red.
Missing one big washer out of the whole hardware debacle. It's not the end of the world. Once I get it set up, I'm gonna adjust it to make it level. All right, let's get it up and over, and then I'll worry about the legs. Here it is all set up in place, and I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely good enough for what I need it for. It's not a big, huge, heavy-duty table for banging on and, you know, doing huge setups. If your expectations meet your price point, this table's fine. It's not an expensive table. It's not multi-$1,000s. It's, you know, around 170 bucks. The fixturing stuff, I do have to say, it's a little lackluster. I'm not really impressed with the very thin, you know, V block kind of deals and stops and these clamps. You do get a better setup with the Harbor Freight table as far as the fixturing goes, but I was planning on making myself some custom stuff anyway. It's easy enough to take an F-clamp and modify it to make a hold down that works with a screw on the bottom to clamp it. And these tables aren't thick enough to just use like a tilt interference fit, so you got to kind of clamp it into place. Like I said, I'm going to be doing setups, small setups. I'm not setting something up, jigging the whole table. It's just convenient to hold some things down here and there, and it's going to work great for what it is. Big thank you to VEVOR for sending this out to me. It's going to get some really good use. It's going to help out in my production. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.